Out and About TV. Travel, adventure, and RVs. Join Sharon and Tom each week as they travel America in a 30-foot trailer exploring and living the RV lifestyle. From trip and product reviews to RV show reports and an unfiltered look at life on the road. This is the show for you. Welcome.
Hey, hidey ho there. Good to see you. It's your old pal, Tom McAuliffe, along with Sharon McAuliffe. Thanks so much for coming by here at Out and About TV. I am just super psyched about having this guest on today. He is a true leader in the RV community, and we hope to bring you many more interviews like this. I'm dismayed that some of the sites that we've covered basically have told us that they're too busy to come and talk to you. Talk to you, not me. I want to talk to you and to have a couple of questions asked and to promote their site. I am really surprised that, they're too busy. Look at folks, it'll take 10 to 15, 20 minutes. Got a couple of questions. My viewers, rather, have a couple of questions. Believe me, I do have a couple of viewers, honest. I really do. And we're growing pretty fast. Thank you so much for the subscribers. We got almost 80 subscribers now. I think we've got 80. And one of our episodes got over 4,000 views. So things are coming along, and we'd love to hear from you. But meanwhile, let's get to this wonderful, wonderful interview with an originator of the RV industry. And I also just want to let you know, we've got a couple of other things coming. We're going to do a roundup of RV apps. And so I've been hammering on various apps, the new app from Mike, the Compendium app, the RV Life app. If you've had experience with any of these apps, if you've got a favorite, one that you hate, or you have other ideas, please send me an email. I would love to have that input. Also, we did a wonderful little write-up, a little episode, we did a wonderful segment on cooking, camp cooking gear with Sharon, and that was very cool. Coming up, as I said, we're going to talk about sewage and the black tank. And we're also going to talk about dirty dealers. That's coming up in the next episode or so. We're every Saturday at noon. We're happy that you're here. Buckle up. Away we go.
And About TV, we've done the legwork for you, watching, analyzing, and curating the top RV YouTube channels that cover everything from trailers and fifth wheels to vans and mobile homes. Channels that entertain, educate, and inspire with hosts that have the heart of a teacher. These RV YouTubers have turned their passion into full-time careers, influencing the RV community and even shaping industry trends. Stop by and we will examine what these channels are covering. And it is more than just entertainment. Just consider Out and About your personal digital campfire for all things RV.
Hey, every week, tune in. We're going to keep cataloging the best in RV channels on YouTube and tell you what they're all about and save you a little bit of time there. Thanks a lot for tuning in. This time on Out and About TV, we are honored to welcome one of the true originators and true pioneers of RV journalism and digital media, Mike Wendland of RV Lifestyle. Mike is an award-winning journalist with an incredible 18 Emmy Awards to his name, and which frankly makes the rest of us feel like we should have worked a little harder in school. 18 Emmys. At that point, you don't need a trophy shelf. You need structural reinforcement for the shelf. But beyond the awards, Mike and his wife, Jennifer, have built one of the largest and most respected communities in all of the RV world. Through their site, RV Lifestyle, with hundreds of thousands of followers, readers, viewers, and RV enthusiasts tuning into them and their trusted advice, travel inspiration, campground insights, tech news, real-world RV experience, not once, but twice every single week. Whenever I get tired, I just think of Mike and all he does. For years, they've helped guide countless people into the RV lifestyle, from weekend campers to full-timers, chasing the dream out on the open road. And you know, being a leader in the RV community probably comes with a few special challenges. When your audience members number in the hundreds of thousands, I imagine your inbox looks a little less like email and more like a FEMA disaster response. Everybody wants advice on tires, towing, lithium batteries, campground reservations, Starlink, and probably how to unclog a black tank at 2:00 in the morning. They'd be able to help you with all of that. We have so much in common, it's spooky. So let's talk story about the RV industry, travel, media, technology, and what it's like helping shape one of the fastest growing lifestyle and adventure communities in America. Please help me welcome Mr. Mike Wendland of RV Lifestyle. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have so much in common, it's not even funny. We're both from Michigan. My uncle was Dick McAuliffe on the 1968 Detroit Tigers. You were a broadcaster in southeastern Michigan for a number of years. I remember seeing you, but I'm not sure. Well, it might have been on Channel 4. It might have been on Channel 7.
Channel 4.
Channel WDIV, of course.
WDIV.
And
News 4. Yep.
I went to Specs Howard School, and then I was on the radio.
An honorary degree is Specs Howard. Right on my wall. You can't see it. It's right over here.
Wow. Wow. Small world, brother. Small world.
Yeah.
Well, let me get right to it because our time is short and I know you're super busy. You've got a lot of stuff going on, a brand new guidebook out we're going to talk about, and a brand new app to help RVers. Let me just start with a couple quick questions. I would submit that you are not just another YouTube creator. I would submit that you are actually a bridge between traditional broadcasting and the new digital media and the RV community. So I guess one of my first questions is, what surprised you most about the transition from traditional media to online digital media?
You know, Tom, in all the interviews I've done, um, no one has ever asked me that question before, and it's a question I'm thrilled to answer because I spent my whole life in traditional media back when there really was such a thing as journalism. It's gone now, totally gone. Uh, and it used to be so complicated. When I first started in the business to do a TV report, I needed a videographer to hold the camera. I needed a producer who kind of coordinated me and the technical part of it. We needed a sound man. We needed a light man or woman, and there was like a whole herd of us that came to a story. And gradually, you know, the producer left, and then we didn't need to have the separate sound person, and then we didn't need to have a lighting person, and it became just a reporter and a photographer. And just as got out of the broadcast business, it got down to so we can record everything. But the big transition for me was I had no intention of doing this when I left broadcasting. I was just, you know, going to go RV and have a good time, and still love to write. That's probably my first passion is writing. And so I would write blog reports, and my friends in the business picked up on our blog reports, and I got some coverage, and people started listening. And the industry at that time, when we started in like 2011, there weren't very many people doing this at all. Well, I still did it in the traditional broadcast way. And I was trained, the story's not about me. It's not about me. It's about whatever it is we're telling people about. In fact, gosh, when I first started as a journalist, I could be fired if I had a bumper sticker on my car. They actually encouraged us not to vote because we would be telegraphing our bias about a story. That's probably a little extreme, but nevertheless, it was never about the reporter. It was always about the story. And the biggest surprise to me when I came into this thing, and we started after blogging and writing, and then we started writing some books, and then we started a podcast, and then we started the YouTube, is the whole emphasis has changed. It's all about the content creator, or for the Lord's sake, do not call me an influencer. I am not an influencer. That is somebody who is bought and paid for to say stuff about whatever brand they're talking about. So that biggest change has come from the content, the story that you were telling, or you. And I submit I think there's about 500 people who are out there doing this in the RV industry now, at least when I counted them back in January. 500, it's actually more than that because many of them are couples. It's all about them. And as my friend Chuck Woodbury, who's another old curmudgeon, he's from RV Travel, says, for God's sakes, turn the camera around. Get it off you. Show me what's going on.
Amen.
And that's the biggest surprise. That was the biggest surprise. And I understand some of that because they want to see the life that we're talking about lived out, you know, and so we become as a necessary, I guess, as a part of it. And when we're doing a review on a product, we're telling you what our impression is and from our experience. But I still like nothing better than to show you something and to explain it and take you someplace where you've never been before and introduce you to some people that you would probably never, ever meet. That to me is what this is all about. And as we create content and share our lives and this stuff, that's how I like to focus.
Well,
That's a long answer, Tom. Sorry.
and you do such a great job doing that. When you went full time, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about full-time RV life?
Well, they have that what I call the Instagram aura about it. They think it is all beautiful blue skies and sunny weather, and they don't understand that to do this, I work every single day of the week. and have ever since we started this. I have no days off. Now, I love what I do. I wake up every morning excited. I can't wait to start. But they don't tell you about when you're trying, like yesterday, we're trying to record our podcast for today. That'll come out. Well, actually, it'll come out on Wednesday. This coming Wednesday. And we're trying to record the podcast, and the campground has got somebody cutting lawn grass. They're cutting the grass, and it's these lawnmowers are. It's a cut. We have to tie. We wait and we wait. That guy finishes. We start recording again, and then it's the trimmer, the guy with the trimmer going back and forth. And then after that, we finish. And then there's the guy, 4 campsites down that has the Harley that he's tuning up on his campground. Going, run, run. It took us 6 hours to record an hour of what we could have done if we didn't have all that noise. They don't realize all this that goes into it. They don't realize what happens when you're out there at 6 in the morning to get this perfect sunrise shot and it suddenly starts to rain, or your rig breaks down. Or as you're traveling from place to place, you face this constant decision fatigue. Every place you got, where's the nearest drugstore? Where's the supermarket? Where are we going to take the dog for a walk? Can we bring e-bikes on this trail? There's a lot of decisions that go into it. And so it is still a great lifestyle. I'm not disputing that at all. It's just that everyone gets this impression from these Instagrammers that everybody goes up on the roof of their RV and does yoga poses. The only time I've ever seen a real RV do that was Jennifer, and she did it as a spoof against me. Of course, I was snapping pictures. I thought it was great, but they don't. Do you ever seen anybody go up on the top of their RV and do yoga poses? Never. And they have all this false highlight reel idea of what the lifestyle is like.
Understood.
And it's a tough lifestyle sometimes, and it can be very challenging.
Well, as what do you think is the hardest part about being viewed as the trusted voice in RV community? I mean, is it a drag being famous and having curly-haired strangers coming knocking on your door, on your front door?
No, that's kind of like it's kind of like validation that somebody's actually out there, and we do feel a little different. Now, when I was on TV in Detroit and then I later at NBC, I was recognized all the time. And that was great. It meant that somebody knew who I was. It surprises me in the RV industry, but now there's become almost a celebrity cult of content creators and out there that are doing this. So it feels really good to do that. It's humbling in the fact that you have to realize that you have to behave yourself in public. You can't lose your temper, and that can happen easily about anything. And so, but people are generally nice. It's a family, so it's like seeing a long lost cousin that you never met before. That's how it is, and we love that part of it.
I was, Sharon and I were sitting here watching YouTube videos on our television, and we came across your live broadcast at the condo, and I said, "That's right over there. It's right."
Yeah.
So I guess I want to get to the new app and talk about that, but let me just close with this. After 18 Emmy Awards, what still excites you enough to grab a camera and head down the highway? And work as
I
hard
don't
as
know
you
what
do.
I'm going to see.
I mean,
I think that
whenever I get discouraged and I get tired, I think about you and how much. I mean, you do 2 broadcasts a week. You've got award-winning books and guidebooks all over the place. A community of more than 100,000 members in RV lifestyle. When do you sleep?
From about 11 till 5 most nights. That's about it. We do a lot, but the one thing that journalism teaches you is to be efficient. You still make mistakes sometimes. I mean, I made a big mistake on Memorial Day weekend. You know how you misspeak a word from time to time and you don't catch it? I called it at one point in my in my one of my podcasts, I said, and we just got through with the Labor Day weekend. No, it was a Memorial Day weekend. I never caught that before it went out. And a couple of people pointed it out. Most people understand because we all do that. But you feel so bad because once it's out there, it's really hard to take back. It's hard to correct stuff. And we try to do that. And you asked earlier, what's the hardest part? The hardest part is realizing that people are depending and relying on what you say. So I do tend to do a lot of stuff, and I always worry that I'm maybe moving too fast and not spending enough time pushing the right buttons. Usually the content and the story tells itself, but it's in putting it up online and writing a description or putting a link in. And when you get those things wrong, people get frustrated, and I do too. So that's a challenge right there. But
Well,
in terms of the work, you get used to it, and we have a staff. I have a content manager. I've got a community manager. We've got social media manager. Thanks to technology and things like AI, it becomes a lot more efficient to do some of these things. But it
as
does
you can,
it takes a small village to put this out every week.
as you can see, my digital campsite behind me here, I live a very rich fantasy life, as you can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's
We'll
talk
have
a
to
little
get
bit
you a
about
real
that.
RV sometime. We gotta get you a real.
The RV lifestyle community is phenomenal. The people were super friendly. I went and checked it out. How many members do you have there?
We have almost 1,000, and it's growing. It's growing really fast. And RVcommunity.com really started about a year ago, a little over a year ago now, because gosh, it's been a year and a half now. It started. I get really frustrated with social media and the nastiness that's out there. We still have a Facebook group. It has almost 600,000 members. Our Facebook group, 600. I think it's 579.
Wow.
Last I looked, we have 205,000 YouTube subscribers. We have probably 100,000 people who listen to the podcast every month. So we have a big audience. And when they're all talking on social media, you put that together, you're talking close to 1 million people. If only 0.5% of people, are nasty, that's still over 100 and something people a day. So Facebook, is just insane. And we just got really tired of when people would ask a question, they would get all these snarky, nasty, toxic replies back. So I said, there's got to be a better way. And then as I'm getting frustrated with that, Facebook changes their algorithms around and they suddenly are censoring people. They're bombarding you with ads. I don't know how they do that, but if you just are thinking about something, you're suddenly getting ads about it.
Totally.
You ever notice that?
Yep.
How does that happen? I don't know. If you dare search for something, oh my goodness, you get 1 million ads on it. So I wanted something that was clearer of that. And then I realized that those people in our group are following us. They're there for us. And I don't have control over that group. Facebook does. So they can bombard them with all those ads. So that's why that was the first reason we started RV Community, was we wanted a safe place. And I made the decision, a lot of my friends said, oh, don't do this, you're crazy. But I made a decision that I would accept no advertising on RV Community, that it would just be member supported, and it's, you got to buy a membership to get into it, but it's pretty reasonable. It's like a cup of coffee a month, but when people pay money for something, they value it. And
That's right.
it's
Exactly
just
right.
something I don't have to have any moderators in RV Community. I have to have a team of about 5 moderators on the Facebook group, because it's so nasty out there.
And they were so engaging and so helpful, helping each other with questions back and forth and ideas and stuff. I was very impressed.
Well, people want friendships, and while campgrounds and camping, you'll meet a lot of people and you'll make friends. This carries on to it. It's we have one of our we do I do 2 live streams a week just for the community, and it's really like a giant campfire
Now, when
where
are
we're all
those?
talking with each other.
That's Monday, the news broadcast, right? And then
Well,
when's the
Monday's a
second?
podcast. That's a podcast, and that's for everybody in the whole world. And Wednesday is kind of we call it the Stories from the Road edition on Wednesday, which is Jennifer joins me for that, and we talk about different things and do interviews and stuff. But on the RV community, which is the private group, we have a Thursday night, and then we do a Sunday night one as well, a live stream where it's live on camera and we answer questions and joke around with people and people joke around with us, and it's like a big campfire. It really
Well,
is.
and Jen is such a breath of fresh air. She is, I mean, and nothing seems to get her upset. You could say,
Oh,
hey, Jen, the picnic table's on fire. She said, okay, we'll take care of that.
that's about it. Yeah, she handles that stuff really good.
Well,
I've,
you
I've
you are
enjoyed
a
interviewing with
busy,
her.
busy, busy camper. Let's talk about this brand new app you have for campers and RVers. Now,
Actually, it's a whole ecosystem of apps. We have
I was
like
just going to
six
say
different
that.
apps.
I was just
Yeah.
going to say that. I've just started using it. I'm getting ready to plan my summer trip to Michigan, and it's very intuitive. But let me start with asking you this. There's a lot of travel and navigation apps out there. So, what was the inspiration for you? What problem were you trying to solve by creating this application?
It was very, very selfish. I couldn't find one that did what I wanted. And what I wanted was, do you remember how pre-internet we used to carry like around a binder, and it would have everything we wanted. It would have all of our data and our stuff, whether it was work. I wanted something like that that was digital. And so I spent a lot of time designing something that would do literally everything. It's like a dashboard. I can keep all my insurance records there, all my information on the RV, and if I have a breakdown and I need to call, a tow truck, I've got my road service numbers. If I want to plan a driving day, I can have a map that'll show me this is where you're going today. And I even had that app. There's even a little button you can push and it will read you like you're having your morning coffee. It's, well, Mike, today you're going to drive 213 miles. And,
Yes,
it's,
love that.
so I put all of this in and I sent it to, I had this app and we were using it ourselves. And I sent it to some friends on the RV community and they said, this is great. And some of them said, why don't you add this? And so I added a checklist before you go. And then somebody said, add this. And we added the weather for along the route. And somebody said, well, I really would like to be able to search for campgrounds. And I said, well, okay. And I said, yeah, but I'd like you to have reviews. And we added that. And so we did all of this stuff, even to budgeting a trip. And we put that all together in an app. And that was the major one. And now we've got like different apps, one for, setting up and tearing down, another one for keeping track as like a log, a journal on what you find on the road and like an old diary, but it's all digital, works on all your devices. We put it not as an app that you download, so there's no danger of getting a virus. We put it on, it's a web app, which works just like any other app that you have. We even have instructions on how you can put an icon on your phone and click that and it'll open it up. And it's been really fun. We write about one new book a month, and we've had 6 or 7 of these apps now that we do that cover every part of the RV lifestyle,
What
and they're fun.
What do you think is the biggest mistake RV travelers make when they're planning a trip?
I think that the biggest mistake is they don't put the big rocks in first. People used to say you put the small rocks in first. It's opposite with travel. You want to put the big rocks in first. If you're going, say, to Yellowstone, your first booking shouldn't be your first campsite. It should be Yellowstone. Where am I going to stay at Yellowstone? Can I get a spot inside the park? or should I go to like Grizzly RV Park right in West Yellowstone? You get that. That's your hub. That's your big rock. Get that reservation laid out. And then the rest of the little rocks, the steps along the way as you travel there, some of those you can do with, RV overnights or Harvest Hosts or Walmarts, or when you need to do laundry, a KOA, and then you fill it in like that. But they tend to think that they have to plan every single stop up at the very beginning. And then when they get to the end, it's too late. They're kind of locked into something and they may not be able to get that spot because they didn't get the reservation in time. Most big rock stops, the destinations, you need to have a reservation. And that's just the way it is now. It used to be you didn't, but you do now.
I found it very interesting that you are a web-based application. And I'm sure that there are advantageous things to why you did that. My question is, what happens if you don't have web access?
You still have it's the only thing it doesn't do, it doesn't sync to your other devices because that syncs by the web until that. So let's say you open it up on your iPhone, you still have the app, right? It's still up, and you can add everything. But then if Sharon wants to open it up on hers and you don't have that, it's not going to sync to hers. But when you get into internet range, yours will sync and then hers will sync and it'll all work out right. So you still have it, just like when you program in say Apple Maps or Google Maps on your Android phone or your Apple phone on your CarPlay. If you're outside a cell phone, the map is still working. You're not connected to the internet, but it's still in there because you have that data on it. But when you then get back into the internet, it might say, "Oh, hey, there's a route change up ahead," and then it'll adjust. So it's the same thing. It still works. It's just that you need the internet to sync it with all your devices, and it syncs immediately.
I noticed that when I was setting up the app that you have a thing, they want to ask what the height of your rig is. And I assume that that's for warnings for overpasses that are a particular height. How do you interface? Where does that information come from?
Oh my goodness, that's the hardest part of setting up an app like that. Well, there's a bunch of you have to buy databases. You have to buy access or get access to a databases, and we use a lot of the Google is called the API, which is an application programming interface that everything has these weird acronyms, but so we have the Google database for places and stops, but then the Department of Transportation and other agencies have a database out there for truckers and for other people that lists the height of various overpasses along the main routes. We don't have every back road. You can't find a database that does it because most of them aren't even listed. But on the main routes that you're driving, usually interstates and big, state highways, they're all listed, and that's on our list. Not every one, so you got to check it yourself if you're going to go off that main route. But it will flag. So you're driving a fifth wheel and it's 13 foot 2 inches high. It will say, "Hey, there's a bridge that's only 12.6 coming up, or on your route. You want to make sure you don't go that way." There are very few interstates that have that, but there are some, particularly on the East Coast, and in very small communities that still have small overpasses. None of them are perfect. You're going to always maybe miss some, but it'll flag the ones that are in the databases.
Will you continue to develop the application and add new features and bug squashes?
Oh yeah, we do all the time. Somebody just wrote yesterday and they said, I like to work with the GPS coordinates. Can we have you fix that? And this is another reason it's so great to be on a web-based app. So I got to our developers and I said, "Hey, we want to add GPS." 10 minutes later, we'd added GPS. Now, if it was like an Apple or an Android app, I would have had to submit a request to change the app, send it to Apple. They would have opened it in a week, who knows when. They would make sure that it works, which is good. I appreciate that. Then it would be pushed out, and then everybody would have to upload the new version of the app. In my case, when we use a web-based app, as soon as I make the change and publish it, you get it. You don't even know it's there. You're just working, and you say, "Hey, I got the For example, we did the voice thing, the little voice thing. We found we could easily do that. It'll read back your directions. It took me 10 minutes to do that. And somebody actually wrote and said, I swear I didn't see this when I got this about an hour ago. And I said, no, it wasn't there an hour ago. It is now. And we update those all. We only have one price. We don't have subscriptions, any of that stuff. And again, these are the ones that Jen and I use. And if people want to use them, great. And if they don't have to. But I charge because it's all bandwidth that I got to pay for,
Amen. Do you see AI eventually becoming a standard in trip planning and RV life? Does AI
I use AI
does AI have
more
a
than
role?
anything else now.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We wrote an ebook on it. I have one of our books on how to use AI for travel. And we do workshops, live workshops in the RV community. I'm going to do one on that in a couple of weeks, how to use AI to plan your trips. Oh my goodness, it's changed so much. You can ask, just go to Chat GPT for example, and try that, or Claude, or Perplexity, or Gemini, any of them, and say, "Hey, I'm going to go." You try it with you and Sharon. We're going up to Michigan this summer. I want to drive no more than 330 miles a day, and I want to stay in a nice place that has full hookups and washer and dryers available. And give me recommendations on campgrounds. What's my route? How long will it take me? And it will write you an itinerary in about 30 seconds. It's just
Amazing.
amazing.
Well,
And
let me ask you, where can they find the app and how much is it?
find what?
The app, where can they download it? Where can they
All of our
order it?
apps, it's at rvlifestyle.com/apps, APPS. Or if you want to go to that trip dashboard, it's rvlifestyle.com/trip dashboard, all one word, trip dashboard. But you can see all of our apps, they're all together. And that's the easiest way is rvlifestyle.com/apps,
And
APPS.
how much is it?
They range from $9.95 for like a departure day checklist to $39 even for our trip dashboard. AI tells me that is worth $59, and it should be on a yearly basis. I should renew it every year, but it's $39 one time, one price, and you get free upgrades for as long as
If
the
you
app is
had to
out there.
go out and buy each application, it would cost 3 times, 4 times of that. So, yeah.
Right. And it's not for everybody. There's a lot of people who are just, they don't know how to use computers like they should, and that's okay. Yeah, it's not for everybody. We understand all that. And paper maps are still pretty good for a lot of stuff. We love paper maps.
Well,
Something about a paper map that I love to spread it out and touch
I
it
do
and look
too.
at it.
I do too. I got my Rand McGalley, and
Yep.
um, you are close to my heart in that we're both writers and we love the written word. Um, and by the way, let me just say this too. I love the fact that all of your stuff is sourced.
Yeah.
I think
We
that's
do.
super,
Yep.
super important these days to know where the information comes from. And I applaud you for that. Well,
Well, thank you.
let's talk about your guidebooks. Wow. How many guidebooks you got now?
Close to 3 dozen, and we've been doing when we add usually about one a month. We've got one coming out. I don't know when this will air, but we've got one coming out. The latest one will be on the state of North Carolina, and that's coming out in the next week or so. So
Well, we got
then I've got one.
Your Pacific Coast Highway one,
Yep.
and Sharon and I have driven, you know, PCH many times, and it is absolutely gorgeous. But your guidebook showed us things that we never even knew about.
One of the problems with guidebooks is I love guidebooks. I instead of novels, I just like to look through guidebooks, but none of them are done for RVers. We just wrote one on, Route 66 for the summer. We did, because everybody should take that route this year, right now, the 250th anniversary. But, it was all the books that we had, there's probably 200 books out there about Route 66, but none of them are written from the standpoint of RVers, where you should stay every night, what you should use as your base camp to go explore. So we did that, and all of our guidebooks are for RVs. What routes to take, what things to see, where to go, and that's the niche that we have found. Making these they're kind of like done for you trips, so you can still modify them, however, but you can just start and immediately jump into it and follow along with what we suggest, and then modify it however you want along the way. But that's been the fun part about it. I'm doing a big one that'll come out this summer on the Canadian Maritimes. And it's just for RVers, where to stay and what to do and what to see. That's another trip every RVer should do.
And predominantly are these trips that you and Jen have taken?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 15 years we've been, I think we're pushing 500,000 miles that we've driven in all types of RVs, in all types of weather.
And so you stay stationary for like 2 or 3 months, and then the rest of the time you're on the road?
I would say we're on the road 3/4 of the time, half 3/4 of the time. Now, this is a tough year. Jennifer needs a knee replacement, and we're going to have to allocate some time this summer. Yeah, allocate some time this summer for her recovery and her PT. But other than that, we're pretty much on the road. We travel every month of the year. We never are in storage or RV. The longest was this spring when we were based in Florida. Down near you, we have a condo that we have there, and we kept our RV there, but we would just take off and use it to travel all up and down the Gulf Coast in the nice weather during the wintertime.
And what kind of rig you got these days?
We've had every kind, and I don't have any sponsorship with any manufacturer, but we bought a year ago, we bought a Brinkley fifth wheel, a 35-foot model Z3100. We put a washer dryer in it. I've got my internet in it. I have a small little studio. We call it our condo on wheels.
Wow.
Let me turn that off.
And what are you pulling it with?
I got that. I don't know who that is. Let me see if I can just.
Folks, as you can see, he's a very busy man.
There we go. Yeah.
And what are you pulling that with?
I pull it with a Ford F350. And I call the Ford the Beast, and I call the Brinkley the Beauty. So it's the Beauty and the Beast.
What about your furry friend? Is it Bo?
That's Bo, our puppy dog Bo, who's 10 years old now. He's grown up in RVs. He thinks his home is an RV, and when we're at our Michigan home or our condo in Florida, he thinks that's like a little vacation. He doesn't understand why he's not in his home, but his home is the RV. He grew up in them.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for taking the time. Where can they find you online?
Best place is you can find everything through rvlifestyle.com. That's our overarching brand there, and everything is linked there. And just come see us. We love to, or rvpodcast.com. That's the podcast, and there's a little form on rvpodcast.com contact, and you can send us a note. We read every note, and we love to talk with people who are part of the RV community out there.
Well, I really want to thank you for taking the time. You and Jen have built one of the most successful and popular communities and an entire ecosystem for RV travelers. And as somebody who's about to hit the road full time, God bless you, because
well, you too, Tom, and it's kind of fun to catch you guys as you're beginning your channel, and you're going to grow. You've got a great sense of questioning, and you have a passion for all this stuff, and you've got a writer's heart, which I think is the key to being a good RV communicator. So go get them, and we got to share a campground together and hang around a campfire.
I can't wait. God bless you. Thanks so much.
And you too.
Well, wasn't that cool? Mike is a very special man, as you can see, as is his wife, Jennifer. And I appreciate him taking time out from RV Lifestyle to come on by and talk with us a little bit. If you like this kind of content, so that we can keep bringing you great interviews, please like and subscribe. We would very much appreciate it. And let us know what you'd like to see on the show. Just send us a little email there. Check out our Facebook page. We have a growing community going on there. And then I wanted to mention, so Mike and I started talking a little bit after the interview. As you may or may not know, back in, I think it was episode 17, I called for a program of mandatory driver education for certain levels of RVs. Look, it's real simple. Before you go and sign a check and get behind or in front of a 45 or 50-foot trailer or a 20-ton plus motorhome, the equivalent of a Greyhound bus, and the size of a semi, you should have to have some basic training. As a driver who's out there, I want that. And I think and I've called for the RVIA and the manufacturers to get behind this effort. That has pretty much fallen on deaf ears. I had several people tell me at the Florida Super Show back in January that I was nuts, that was never going to happen. And if the industry is not going to regulate, it's been self-regulating now for many, many years, and it's obvious that self-regulation is a failure. And there's a whole lot of blame to go around. And Tommy's starting to get his Irish dander up. So if the industry's not going to do anything, and there's a whole thing coming down your way about dealers and the collusion between dealers and manufacturers, there's a whole lot of blood on hands. And we're going to talk all about it. I don't care. Oh, Tom, you're going to be ostracized. Yeah, like I care. And the state of Indiana is definitely culpable. They have massaged their tax code and robbed the people of Indiana of millions, maybe billions of dollars in tax revenue. So we basically didn't get any response, and so now we've gone to government. And I've talked with several congressional offices and Senator Scott's office of the state of Florida, and it appears that there are going to be some hearings this fall. And I'm hoping that leaders of the RV community, like Mike and like Miles and Josh, and would be willing to be called and testify before a thing. There's such a need for regulation. Lemon laws, if they're going to put things together with staples and glue, then by God, we should hold them accountable afterwards. So anyway, we started talking a little bit about that, and here's that conversation.
I mean, you think of it, mine is 35 feet long, and my truck is 22 feet long. I am as big as a semi-trailer out there. And I had never towed anything that big before. It turns out I did get training because after driving around a van, I just wasn't going to do that. And the training is not that hard, but I didn't know about making a wide turn, how you make a wide turn. I didn't know about the importance of bearings on a RV compared to a truck or a car. I didn't know a thing about RV tires, which are much inferior to anything you put on your vehicle. Those are all things that somebody's got to train these people about. I think all that's there.
And add to that, they're towing a car. So they got the tow vehicle, then they got the long 45-foot trailer, and then he's towing a car behind that as well.
Well, sometimes they're towing three. Yeah. that should be, again, just like many states have, you can't carry tandem trailers, behind a semi. But yeah, I'm happy for any of that stuff. I really do think that we need more training.
So I hope you found that interesting. Thanks so much. We got a lot coming for you. We've got some great other interviews coming up. So make it a point to come by every Saturday at noon. Please like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for coming by. Get out there and see your old pal Mother Nature, and we'll see you out and about.
Stop.